Today we're going over the hottest bosses in the Souls games. From 10 out of 10 baddies to truly questionable hear-me-outs. Let's not beat around the bush and get right into it. Here's the hottest bosses in all of Soulsborne, from least to most bad. At the very bottom of our list is Maiden Estra. Something about that chin just sets off alarms in my mind. I can't explain why, it just sets off my spidey senses. But other than that, she's just an average woman, which is a lot to say for Souls bosses. Considering most of them look like this, she isn't that bad. But also, she definitely isn't bad. Half of the time you look into her eyes, and it looks like she's seen some things. Which I mean, she has, considering the fact she's stuck in a room with a bunch of aborted fetuses. But I'm not gonna dig into that too much. For so many reasons. If you did anything to get stuck in a room with dead children, that's a very respectful pass for me. This entry says that she went into the Valley of Defilement to help the suffering that dwell there, and neither her nor her knight has been seen since they've entered. Which is nice on paper. Kindness is no doubt hot, but that only applies to a certain extent. The second you're telling me you're going into a place called the Valley of Defilement, I'm looking at you like you lost your mind. I love how the entry makes sure to mention that they haven't been seen since they've entered. Like, yeah, she went into the Valley of Defilement. If you told me you were going to a place called the Scary Evil Monster Death Area, I wouldn't be waiting for you to come back. It also doesn't help that she's dressed like a nun. Like, seriously, she has no fashion. And for all those reasons, she's at the bottom of this list. Speaking of dressing like a nun, let's talk about Sister Fried, because Zooey Mama G Willikers is she a baddie. She's also dressed like a nun, but she kinda kills this outfit, and it honestly adds to her vibe that makes her so hot. Her being a nun makes her feel like forbidden fruit. You know, being attracted to Sister Fried feels like a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich craving on a Sunday. More importantly, she's so cool. She's got a whole scythe, and she also has most of her face covered. It gives this insanely cool vibe that very few bosses can pull off. She aura farms by just standing there. You know she's a badass before she even makes a single move. Added on to that, she brings out 2 whole scythes and starts dual-wielding them in her later phases. Like, holy girl boss. I couldn't think of a better boss to kill me over and over again. If it's Sister Fried, I'll happily attempt the boss fight 100 times. I've got that kind of mental illness that makes me think any woman that can violently murder me with ease is just wife material. Also, I'll put up a picture of her face right now. I don't know about you guys, but she's pretty bad to me. Overall, I feel like Sister Fried is a pretty bad baddie, and easily the baddest in the Dark Souls 3 roster. And as a bonus to the freaks, she's the obligatory barefoot character for Dark Souls 3. Now let's go to Elden Ring. It was pretty hard looking for a good one in Elden Ring. I mean, most of the boss roster consists of old men and literal animals, but the hottest woman boss in Elden Ring is obvious. It's Mellennia. Just to start off, her face is pretty attractive when it isn't rotting. To my knowledge, we only see her rotted, so we can't be 100% sure, but you can imagine how her face would look like without it. And there's also plenty of fan art that makes it pretty obvious she has a good face. This is also part 2 of me being attracted to women that could literally kill me, so she gets a spot on here just from that. Mellennia literally has a face where she sheds her clothes, and her full raw tussie is out. I'm sorry boys, but I'm gonna get scarlet rot. I gotta do it. And if you're into strong women, there's also the thing about her never losing a fight. But yeah, Mellennia is pretty majestic. I mean, look at this picture. Easily one of the hottest bosses in the entire Soulsborne series. But she isn't nearly as hot as the like and subscribe buttons. Subscribing allows you to be the first to get the best high quality Soulsborne content on the entire site. And while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like. Pretty please? Now this is where you guys start learning more about John through the fog than you ever should through my rankings. The next hottest boss is the Fool's Idol. I know what's going through your mind. You probably think I'm crazy for choosing this boss as the hottest. I mean, look at her. She has crazy hair, and she's holding a weird piece of driftwood for some reason. But I know the real ones out there see the vision. Let me put these 2 images side by side, and you'll get it. Yeah, John through the fog has a type. I've got that kind of mental illness. You could literally put goth makeup on a rock, and I would think it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Boys, the subliminal programming worked, and I'm cooked. But she is hot, the goth makeup aside. I mean, look at how many hands she has. Imagine all the things she could do with them. Imagine all the driftwood she could hold up with those paws. Seriously, why the hell is she walking around with some random piece of wood? She also has a book, and reading is hot. Intelligence is hot. No, okay, I'm gonna stop trying to justify it. I'm cooked. Let's talk about how hot Godfrey is. Yeah, we're not just doing women, we're throwing in some representation for my girls and gays too. And I can't think of a better example of peak male performance than Godfrey. Every time I walk in, this man got me acting up. I think the word daddy was made for men like these. This guy is so cool. Added on, he has a whole lion. I'm sure you're wondering how that makes him more hot. To that I say, girls in the audience, go ahead and tell me with a straight face that you would not date a man that has a whole ass lion on the spot. If the answer is no, you're lying. Bro has a whole lion. Like, come on. This may seem like a hear me out, but look at this fan art. The Elden Ring community clearly wants Godfrey, and I'm right there in that group. Dude is so strong he can literally make the ground shake. He can make your entire earth quake, like that one Tyler the Creator song. He's definitely the hottest man in Elden Ring. Priscilla from Dark Souls 3 is way hotter than Godfrey. Let's not talk about what she's actually called. Straight off the bat, Priscilla is very attractive. There aren't many bosses you can look in the wiki of and see comments like this. This is probably the most agreed upon boss on this list. I mean, she's just a really pretty girl who isn't lacking anywhere. I'm also vibing with this outfit. She definitely has fashion sense. This fur-like dress looks very comfy and stylish, but the most important thing by far is the tail. I may get furry accusations, but I don't care. There's something about a girl with a tail that's so appealing. It's this big bushy thing you can cuddle like a huge blanket. Who wouldn't want to cuddle up to a huge bushy tail? Even if you don't agree with the tail thing, she's such a baddie that she looks good even with the crappy old graphics. She's so beautiful that she breaks through all graphical limitations. Her fan art is also top tier. It's very clear that Priscilla is a favorite in the community in terms of attractive bosses. Our next boss is a bit of a sleeper pick though, because the Asylum Demon has to be one of the hottest bosses in Dark Souls 1. This is the very first boss you face in the game, and boy is he a treat to the eyes. To put it simply, I would do unimaginable things to this boss. He is the baddest of all baddies. If this guy's a demon, then he must be an incubus, because he's emanating pure riz. I mean, look at this guy's six-pack. Absolutely perfect. And he needs to be super strong to hold a hammer like that. This is what true strength looks like. Let's also take a look at his face. Look at that beautiful complexion and shape. That's the face of Prince Charming himself. I have no idea why he has wings, but they're a good representation of his ethereal and heavenly beauty. Seriously though, why does he have those tiny wings? What are those supposed to lift up? Because they definitely aren't lifting him up. This guy is huge, and you're really trying to tell me those wings will do anything at all? All that aside, the hottest thing about him is easily the way he moves. He just has this natural grace and authority to every step. He truly embodies grace in everything he does. Sorry guys, I got way too excited. It's not every day you find a creature as perfect and curvy as the Asylum Demon. I need me a baddie that looks like this. If the Asylum Demon existed, I would not be getting any work done. But Lothric has to be the hottest boss in Dark Souls 3. Lothric has that heavy femboy appeal. Considering how much femboys are in right now, that easily puts him on this list. I mean, look at this guy's face. It almost feels completely wrong calling him a guy. I'm a completely straight guy, but his face is still tingling the same part in my brain that Lady Dimitrescu's daughters do. Added on to that, he can cast literal magic. Being able to cast magic is insanely hot. He literally teleports around the boss fight. Could you imagine if he could take you anywhere you wanted? That would be insanely romantic. And being with Lothric would offer a lot of perks. But the main one is teleportation. Can you imagine your boyfriend being able to teleport you wherever you want? That's an advantage absolutely no one has. At least that we know of. He's also literally a prince. I can't think of many hotter occupations than being a prince. I think it's pretty clear that Lothric is one of the hottest bosses in the entire Souls series. Our next boss is the most beautiful boss in the entire Soulsborne series, and the second hottest. Lady Maria. There better not be any disagreements on the comments for this one, because if you disagree, you literally hate women. Can you imagine looking at this image and saying, no, she isn't the most baddest woman ever? Like, if you actually say that, your opinion is invalid. My type isn't best described by words. The best way to explain it would literally be showing you a picture of Lady Maria. She's perfect. I have absolutely no complaints. I know some people in the comments are gonna try and bring up the weird lore about her, but I don't care. I know what she did before she was in the clock tower, and it makes her even better. And where are the women that dress like this? I mean, seriously, if I could find a girl that dressed in Victorian Gothic clothing, it's over. I'm sure you've caught on to the fact that I really like girls with white hair. I have no idea where this came from, but it's something that I've suffered with my entire life. Just look at the art for the Old Hunters DLC. She's literally the coolest boss in Soulsborne history. Go ahead and find another boss at Aura Farms like her. You won't be able to. She's so bad that Gehrman literally made a doll to look like her, just to go freak mode on it. Yeah, that canonically happened. People judge him for it, but did the guy honestly do anything wrong? All I'm saying is that if most men were in that situation, they would have folded like a lawn chair. She also gets those points for being able to beat me up easily. I mean, there's no doubt she would stand up for me if I was missing some chicken nuggets at McDonald's. Lady Maria is top 10 most beautiful women in gaming, and pure wife material. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. The hottest boss in the Soulsborne series is the Chaos Witch Quelaag. Let me be blunt, she's got some assets, and she is showing them very clearly. Since this list is talking about the hottest bosses, she wins just by being topless. It was a losing game from the start. Dark Souls 1 is a game filled with big-boobed women, so it makes sense that Dark Souls 1 would wield some of the finest melons in the series. Her belly button too. I don't know what it is about it, but something about that general area is fine as hell. Her face is also solid. She's a baddie in pretty much every way. Let's just ignore beneath her torso though, because that's way too much to dig into. She's also a witch, which is super hot, because as you know, ladies and gentlemen, I like goth women, and witches are goth adjacent. In college, I almost enrolled in a witchcraft class purely to try and meet a goth girl. I am so down bad for witches. So I think with all that in mind, I've got to put our big-boobed witch spider mommy as the hottest boss in all of Soulsborne history. She just does things to the player base. That was all the hottest bosses in the Soulsborne series. If you have any baddies you think should have made it in, go ahead and click the video on screen to see the best and worst enemy in every Souls game. And until next time, I'll see you through the fog.